Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of the Spurs Chat podcast. Of course, in this edition, we'll be talking about Tottenham's trip to Turf Moor in the Premier League. Burnley 2, Tottenham Hotspur 5. Of course, Heung-min Son has just scored a hat-trick. Now, Burnley took the lead after just 4 minutes, and then Spurs scored 2 wonderful goals in the first half through Heung-min Son and Christian Romero. And then Spurs added another 3 goals in the second half through Maddison and Son with another couple of goals, completing his hat-trick. 2 assists today from Solomon, also assists from Udogie and Porro. Ange Postecoglou equals the record, picking up 10 points in his first 4 games in the Premier League, equaling the record set by Harry Redknapp, Tim Sherwood and Antonio Conte. 3 wins, 1 draw, 11 goals scored, 3 conceded, and we are sitting in second place in the Premier League table. There is a good feeling about the football club right now, certainly in the Premier League, and it has been a great response to, of course, Spurs going out of the Carabao Cup midweek. I've got 3 very special guests as normal. We've got actor Ricky Norwood back with us. Ricky, how are you?
Bruv, a Sonny hat-trick, bruv. We needed that Sonny hat-trick, my gosh. And every single goal today was sublime, mate. Sublime. You know what really got to me today was our response to that, conceding that first goal. We didn't panic as per usual. We didn't retreat. We didn't surrender. We was like, okay. We just nodded and was like, okay, let's show you. And we just got back into the game and kept building and pushing and building and pushing. Seeing Sonny in that number 9 spot, taking on those Maddison chances. Do you know what I mean? Like the team, Udogie, Bissouma, Maddison off the chain, Romero's rocket. Oh my gosh. What a buzzing weekend. And listen, if we've only got the Premiership to play for and we're playing like this, that's all right with me. Let's keep building. Let's keep pushing. And I am, of course, buzzing this week. Let's have it.
Ricky, I love having you here. I'll tell you what, there is a question from Nathan here about you personally. Is Fat Boy returning to EastEnders? It's been a big week for you. You've been back on EastEnders. Yeah. Is it back for good? Can you tell us anything?
Look, I was really kind of honoured and kind of just overwhelmed at being asked to go back for a flashback scene. And to some of the comments that I've seen, I've had so many beautiful messages, so much love, so much great energy. But they were like, did they CGI you to make you younger? No, I just shaved and it was a little bit of makeup and we went to work. Do you know what I mean? So it was a one and done. It was a special. It was a bit of a surprise for all of those EastEnders fans in that moment in time. And is he coming back? I don't know. But it was just a special week to be a part of. It was lovely to be a part of that storyline and to just set foot back on that set again and be a part of the EastEnders family was a beautiful thing. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was hard keeping it quiet. It was hard keeping it a secret for so long. But I'm glad we did, and I'm glad you guys got the surprise that you did, and sending love out to all of you that have been sending me love, man. All of the comments, Sean, all of you guys, man. Love you loads, and it was phenomenal being back, even if it was just for that brief moment.
Well, love having you here, Ricky, and we've also got channel regular Darren Altman with us, of course, impressionist. Darren, how are you?
Unbelievable. What a win. I mean, you know, when it came to like the sort of 75th minute, I sort of, thought, oh, anyway, what's on later? You know, it was in the bag. It was absolutely brilliant. I mean, the fluidity, the freedom, it's watching a completely different team. It's unbelievable. You have to pinch yourself. Like Ricky said, the response to that goal and the pressing so high up, you know, and our defenders like defending on the halfway line and further up. It's unbelievable. The fluidity, the freedom, the expression. I mean, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And the we'll talk about it, but the save from Vicario, and it was, I mean, it's that. When was the last time you saw that passion in a Spurs shirt? I mean, come on. I feel like Ricky Norwood today.
Let's have it.
Well, before we introduce the other guest that's not been with us for some time, can we hear the thoughts of Ange Postecoglou on today's performance?
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, look, we played a good team. It's, your captain scores a hat trick and he didn't play particularly well. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you got to be positive. You got to take the positives, and it's when it says the P's and they come out the side of his mouth. And one thing I've noticed at the end of the day, look, you take the Postecoglou growl. You had a bit of Cockney, and then you get Gal. All right, I'll fucking and then you go back to Edge. Look,
I'm so glad I've got you on this evening, Darren. I really am. Ricky, Darren, and Gary. What a lineup today. We've also got Gary Maloney back with us. Gary, it's been too long. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm really poor Maddison. What can I say? I've just been watching since the start of the season. He reminds me of like a modern Paul Gascoigne. Honestly, he has that Paul Gascoigne vibes, and he was made to play for Spurs. It's just like he's always been the Tottenham player. But I just absolutely love what he plays, confidence with the ball, the way he goal, the one that he done before that with a save. But he just reminds me of Paul Gascoigne. He really does. He honestly, let's just hope he don't go down the road of partying as much as him. I'm sure he won't. But drinking drugs aside, he is a modern day Paul Gascoigne, and the confidence and the way he plays, he just makes it look. Honestly, he's absolutely brilliant. That first shot, that was. He kind of went with a curl with his side foot. The second one, he was taking no chances. Power, precision, love it. Absolute. Still annoyed that he conceded near the end. I said that before we came on air, Chris. It always annoys me with Tottenham, and it's no surprise they made all them changes and brought on all the culprits the other night, and then we conceded. But the less said about that, the better. At the end of the day, when do we ever go to Burnley and score 5 goals? It does not happen, mate. It really does. Honest with you, we could have had 6 or 7. Really?
Yeah, it could have been more. Yeah. Yeah, it could have been a lot more. Well, it's been a good start to the Premier League, as I said right at the start of the show. Spurs are sitting in second place in the Premier League right now. We've played 4, we've won 3, we've drawn 1. We've got a goal difference of +7. We have 10 points. Now, the stats today, Burnley, 46% possession to Tottenham's 54%. Burnley had 16 shots, Tottenham had 20. Burnley had 4 shots on target, Tottenham had 10. Corners, Burnley 7, Spurs 4. Fouls, Burnley 15, Spurs 9. Ricky, let's start the show with you. Give me your thoughts on today's game and just give me more positivity. I'm loving it.
Well, do you know what? For me, I thought today was a really good test because we was coming up against a Burnley side that's been taken over by Company, and they've changed their style of football as well, and they've gone on this kind of front-footed football and the high press as well. So it was really interesting for me for our side that has been in its infancy in developing this new way of playing, and we've been doing well. But it was really good to see us go up against last year on this way of playing and being in the Premiership doing this against another side. Now, straight away, we conceded a goal, okay? And that's going to happen. We're going to concede goals with the amount of space that we're going to be leaving, or whether it be on the wings or in behind. But again, the way that we responded to that, the way that we came back, and the way that we didn't lose faith in our system, we didn't lose faith in Ange Ball, and we stayed brave. We stayed brave. It didn't stop us expressing ourselves, and we just went out there to show us what. Hello, Jumbo. To those fans in Kenya, but we stuck to the task, and you know what? Every single one of those players. Now, look, and I'm sure we're going to talk about the transfer window and who we got and who we didn't get, but you look at that side right now, and it's a fresh-faced side. This whole side are hungry, and they're all kind of they're excited about playing this way. They're excited about playing with freedom and on the front foot. This is the style of football that they want to play, and you can see that. I think Maddison, again, absolutely outstanding. Like Gaz said there, absolutely born to play for Spurs. Great turn of direction, always looking up, always on the front foot. And it was just so nice to see him score today as well. And what a goal by Maddison as well today. But seeing Sonny in the 9 position, really nice. You can see him getting back to his best there. And maybe that's the future for us right now. Maybe that's the future for us being in, do you know what I mean? The number 9 position. Big love out to Malaysia. We're getting loads of comments from around the world right now. So big love out to all of you. If you're there watching from around the country, drop your flags in the comments as well. But yeah, back to the performance. I thought we was dynamite. I think Udogie looks like a phenomenon there left back. I think Porro, his recovery pace and his defensive awareness is growing week on, week out. But his attacking threat, again, fantastic. Romero, for me, very close between Romero and Sonny for a man in a match. Obviously, Sonny got the hat-trick, but I thought Romero was outstanding. He was calm. He was assured. He got headers away, do you know what I mean, for the shorter of the centre-backs. There was a clamping tackle, but I think it was early in the second half, actually, where they had Burnley players were running through and they were zigzagging through a couple of us, and he just went in and clamped them. Do you know what I mean? And not only that, his defensive display, but his calmness, and then to score the rocket that he scored today at the perfect time of scoring as well. I was just like, we've got so many things to be happy about with this Tottenham side. All right, we got knocked out the cup early in the week. Okay, but this first team that we've got right now, this new first team, this new way, this new Ange ball, I think that it's showing us where we can go. We're still in the infancy. We've still got a lot to build on. But you know what? You could look at that side today, and Kulu done well today. But I looked at that side and I thought, you know what? How exciting is this going to be when we have a speed demon in Brennan Johnson on that right-hand side, or in behind, or just being able to swap and continue to cause chaos. We're a far side. We're a young side. We're a hungry side. And we're going to cause problems. You know, when Ange said that people are going to be frightened of Tottenham, I think the more we put in performances like this, the scared the rest of the league are going to be. And Vicario, again, another great display. Yes, conceded 2 goals, but we'll go into those goals. But the saves that he made and the confidence that is building within him is very encouraging for what's to come. And having one game a week right now, we can rely on our first team. We don't have to rely on any second teamers. We can rely on a bit of rotation, but we can rely on our first team pushing forward and building something, building the new Tottenham. And this is beautiful to see, especially before the international break. So come on.
Ricky, just very quickly, Roy Price writes here, like most, I was shocked with the cup exit, but not upset as most. The Premier League is far more important on all levels, but it would be nice now to go for the FA Cup. It would be nice to go for the FA Cup, wouldn't it, and take one of the cup competitions seriously this season.
Absolutely, and you know what? I think that Ange wanted to take both cups seriously just because he changed the side. I don't think he demeans that competition in that way. I think that, like he said, you know, he's seen some players in training eager to get onto the field. He wanted to change up side. Maybe it was too many changes. I would have kept the back 5 the same at least, and then changed maybe the midfield and the up front. But you know what? The lesson's been learned by Ange. He knows who he can trust. He knows who he can rely on. He knows who's going to put in a shift, and he knows who kind of is not up to the task as well. So I thought, you know what? Okay, cool. We're out of it. I didn't want to be out of it, of course. But again, like we've all known as fans over the years, our second team, when we change a side, our second team ain't that great. And sometimes when we want them to take their opportunity, they end up missing that opportunity. So, you know what? Okay, it's done and dusted. We've got the FA Cup to come. I'm sure that he will know by that time, having only the one other cup competition and those midweek games, that he's going to have to rely on his first team again with little rotations. So it's positive. I think we're going to go all out for the league. I think we're going to be a surprise package for the league, especially those pundits that have kind of undermined us. But I like being an underdog in the league. I like it when they kind of underestimate us, and then we can surprise them. Do you know what I mean? So, look, let's just keep building. This is a rebuild season. Let's keep building. I'm loving the way that we're looking right now. I've never been so excited. It's been a long time since I've been excited to actually get up and watch a game and go, oh, okay, this is what, you know, we're going to see some Ange ball today. Who's going to impress? And it's exciting to watch. It's pleasing to watch. And we're winning as well. We're winning. So great start before the international break. Great start. 3 wins and a draw. Unbeaten. Let's keep going.
Love the positivity, Ricky. Darren, let's come to you. Actually, before I come to you, let's have a look at the other results in the Premier League today. Sheffield United 2, Everton 2, Brentford 2, Bournemouth 2, Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. And Manchester City 5, Fulham 1. Darren, let's have your thoughts on today's game.
Well, listen, my first of the season. So lovely to love to be here. Thank you so much, Chris. Always a pleasure. So I'm going to just go back a little bit because this is the first of the season. When we were looking for a manager and Ange was mentioned, I have a real problem with Scottish football. Like I just, whenever it comes on, I shout on the TV and just go, oh, because it's two teams and the last time that a team that wasn't Celtic and Rangers won the Scottish League, anyone know? And the year, little fun fact, was Aberdeen back in 1984. So whenever anyone mentions Scottish football, I switch off. I just go, and we demonstrated this week by everyone getting booted out of the cup. So when everyone mentioned Ange Postecoglou and they said, oh, he's won the treble with Celtic in Scotland, I was like, yeah, but it's a Mickey Mouse league though, isn't it? What do we want him for? And then I watched this. I found this documentary about an hour and a half on Ange Postecoglou, and I thought, well, I got to watch it. And I watched it on YouTube, and they had that thing where he was mic'd up on the training field and all of that. I thought, oh, okay, right. And he started talking about how he plays, and he said it's my way or the highway. I only know one way of playing. And they showed him in Melbourne and was it China or Hong Kong? China.
On the Asia Cup.
Thank you. The Asia Cup. And I thought, well, this guy may have something about him. And then he comes and we get to know what Ange Ball's about. And it's like, fucking hell, wow. And then he endears himself to us so much, the way he conducts himself, the way he's got us playing. So it's just unbelievable the way that this guy who's been, Asia and Australia via Scotland has got playing and has got us so pumped up and horny for his style of football. It's unbelievable. And today it was like, no wonder they're singing, we've got our Tottenham back. The pressing, we haven't seen this in years. Conte, Mourinho, Nuno. When was the last time we were defending on the halfway line? And gone is the side to side back, side to side back, side to side back. It's unbelievable. I mean, yes, we shipped 2 goals, but listen, if we're going to play like that every week, it was an absolute treat to watch. And I mean, my God, you talk about Maddison and the way he plays and expresses himself, and he's everywhere. And that, popping up. You're looking at Udogie, who's a left back, and he's coming right inside, and he's in the middle of the pitch. Porro with pinging those balls. It's just what he's done to this team is unbelievable. I'm excited. I'm horny. Bring it on.
I'll tell you what, for anyone who wants to see some scenes in the away end today, I've just uploaded a video on YouTube from the away end. And I'll tell you what, the players, the togetherness, that connection with the fans again is unreal. And I've got goosebumps. Every time I talk about this togetherness again, I seem to get goosebumps at the moment. And Postecoglou, the way that the fans have just connected to this new head coach of ours is incredible. I know I was a little bit down midweek going out the Carabao Cup. I wanted to see a stronger team, but I do trust the manager. I do trust this process, and I certainly do trust him because the style of football that we have got going on at the moment is unbelievable, and it is very exciting, as Ricky and Darren have already said. Gary, let's get your thoughts on today's game.
Yeah, just want to touch quickly on the cup thing that you said, because I was angry about that, but I think after this game today, there's only one way we would have got over that, and that was going away to Burnley and scoring 5 goals. Yeah. And we could have got great. And let's not be fun about it. Like, Burnley is a very, very place to go. And if you think of our past records at Tottenham Stadium with 2 goals past them and stuff, it was an amazing run from the in this half all the way through. Going to Burnley, and they're no easy side. So for me, it was unexcusable going out of the cup, Chris. Honestly, it was gutting, and I felt every pain that you said on that show because I was with you, mate. But to respond to it like that, sensible team out, and the team he should have put out in the cup game is what he done, and it just talks for itself. But for me, Son, the first goal is it's ridiculous. The confidence of the chip, the way,
unbelievable.
Kulusevski, I think, really upped this game. Brilliant today. I love Romero, other than the goal, all of you would have said about you in the stadium, Chris, but when it goes to VAR, you've got everything crossed and you're thinking, please. And it's not just that it's Tottenham and goal. When you see goals like that, you think, oh, this is going to be disallowed for something ridiculous. Holding your breath in you, but I think it was a great time to score. Maddison is just absolutely amazing. I cannot sing his praises enough. For me, even in that cup game, he came on for the last 10 minutes or so. It just changed everything. And him in that game today, he just makes everything work. It's almost like, everyone was so doom and gloom about Kane going, but I said this so many times. We play more as a team when we don't have Kane. We got to Champions League final without him. We bring him back in the final and we lose. There is life after Harry Kane. And when you look at them guys today, they were playing as a team. You're not just talking, look, Maddison player, he's amazing. Kulu on his day, Son when he gets his confidence back. But it's like what Ricky said, it's like what Darren said. It's the whole team. From when we made those 5 changes, I think we could have gone and scored 7 or 8 goals. When we made those changes and we went back to the cup team, or very similar to the cup team, that's when we sat there. We didn't press and we conceded. And I could see it coming. But look, we went behind after 3-4 minutes, and to respond the way that we did and play the way that we did after going out against Fulham I couldn't have asked for anything more. And I get what Ricky's saying, because it's almost like when he says the league and stuff, I don't want to get carried away, but you'd accept going out the Carabao Cup if we got top 4, won the league, wouldn't you? So let's just...
Yeah. I don't think we're getting carried away as Spurs fans about the league position or about not being, being unbeaten at the moment in the Premier League. I think it's more the style of football that we've all wanted for so long.
Chris, it's absolutely amazing. And you saw flashes of that there, Conte, Mourinho and Nuno, but very rarely. I mean, you could probably count the games on one hand. Yes, City, but City's almost like we're a bogey team, so we always up our game for City. But other than that, there wasn't really any good attacking flair football. But today, some of the football I was seeing from Kulu and the strength of Bissouma and these boys, it's like chalk and cheese. But that's, when we made those 5 substitutions and those players come off and the other players come on, you see the difference in experience and skill. You really do, Let's just hope we don't get too many injuries. But like Ricky mentioned as well, we've got a new guy. He looks brilliant. I'm excited about that. So we've got that to come. It's a positive time to be a Tottenham fan. It's positive that we've conceded away from home and we're winning 5-1, and I'm still annoyed. That's how I want to be every week. I want to be in games where we've got a massive lead and we're sitting back and relaxing and conceding near the end, but still winning the games. That's what I want. I don't want games where we're 8 minutes to go and we end up drawing with West Ham at home. I don't want games. I want that to be like the past. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I'm happy. I've got my Tottenham chocolate. I'm going to eat the whole lot.
Gary, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we can't hear you that well. So if you could just try and sort your microphone out just while I go to Ricky. We want to be hearing you a little bit clearer, but we're not hearing you as much as we normally do. Ricky, let's come to you. Let's talk about the starting 11. Of course, Postecoglou only made 1 change from the last Premier League outing at Bournemouth. Of course, Solomon came in for Richarlison. Heung-min Son had a central role. So the team line up as follows: Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Sarr, Bissouma, Kulusevski, Maddison, Solomon and Son. Of course, Solomon made his first start in Premier League football for Tottenham Hotspur. Subs today: Skip, Højbjerg, Sanchez, Richarlison, Royale, Perisic, Forster, Davis and Phillips. Your thoughts on the starting 11 with Richie out of the team?
Do you know what? I first and foremost, I thought it was a great first debut start for Solomon. I think what did he get? Two assists today?
Yeah.
So he's got 2 assists. Sonny in the number 9 has got a hat trick. Straight away, that's a positive response. Do you know what I mean? I don't know which way you cut it. It's a positive response. And what I actually really like as well is that they chucked Phillips on the bench today. So instead of putting a Dyer or somebody else, we're moving forward. And to put a young boy on the bench, I'm down for that. Even if they put Dorrington, I've been really impressed with what I've seen from Dorrington. And I think there's where we didn't sign a new centre back. Okay, well maybe there's an opportunity for these boys to be on the bench, be in the matchday squad, and then be ready if called upon to jump into the team and to give us what we need. Do you know what I mean? So I was really encouraged with those things. But to see Solomon out there again, bright, nippy, rapid in spaces. Do you know what I mean? He's got the dribble ability. He's got a good touch. I felt that he shot a bit too much today when there was better passes on. But he's a young player. He's going to find that, and he's going to understand the more games and the more minutes that he gets, he's going to understand when it's the best time to pass or when it's the best time to shoot. But I'm down for the changes today. How can anybody be upset with that? I think a great point to make as well is that out of the 5 games that we've played, including the cup game, 4 of them have been away from home. And I think that shows a massive amount of grit. That shows a massive amount of kind of togetherness, that they're on mission, that they're up for it, that, that playing Ange ball away from home against sides that want to do something in this Premiership, whether they want to grab a point, or whether they're going out there to win. I think it's been fantastic because can you imagine? And that away support again today, absolutely phenomenal. Chris, big up to yourself and everybody that was in that away stand. I heard the Postecoglou song. I heard Tottenham left. I had songs left, right, and centre. Do you know what I mean? I was so happy. I was so happy with that away support, and they've been like that consistently every single away game. They've been getting louder. They've been getting more boisterous, and they've been cheering this team on. When we've dropped off, not just when we're winning, not just when we're on the front foot, but when we've dropped off, they've kind of, the fans have got together to sing up and to push the team on and to say that we've got your back. And I think that that's what's really important about Sonny, especially away from home, but doing the kind of the huddle in front of the away supporters and stuff like that. It says that we're together on this. Like we need you and you need us. And seeing that build and build and build, can you imagine? We saw what it was like against Man United, but can you imagine the next couple of home games that we have? It's going to be absolutely rocking. I heard James Black say the other night that he's never heard it as loud as it was against Man United at this first home game. Even when it came down to Champions League finals and stuff, he's never heard it as loud. He's never heard it as boisterous. And I think that's a lot to do with Ange Postecoglou. Coming in, playing the football that we want to see, but this young, new, hungry side, the fact that we can put a Solomon in and get a performance, because again, he's out there to earn his shirt, he's out there to earn some Spurs, as the pun would be. So it's exciting, it's super exciting, and this is, like I say, this is just 4 games in the league, just the tip of the iceberg. But to go away from home and do what we've done, all right, we've lost one with the cup game away from home. But to do what we've done in the league away from home and what we've done at home with our own crowd, it's just the precipice. We're just climbing up this mountain, but we are looking so bloody well good, So I think there's so much more to come from this team as well, especially when they click into gear. You saw Ange Postecoglou frustrated a lot in the first half. I haven't really seen him throw up his hands or be like, oh, what was that? Or look to the bench and kind of... So he's expecting a lot more from this side after this amount of time. He's expecting them to kind of start doing it automatically, start doing it telepathically without thinking or without being told. So that's still to come. But this side right now, and then look, I'm going to go overboard. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? We've had so many miserable games, even when we've won, we've had miserable games that while it's fresh, while it's new, while we've got this new way of playing, I'm going to enjoy every single minute of it. And like I said to you in pre-season as well, like I got so despondent and so disjointed from Tottenham last year. I got so angry with Tottenham last year that to see us right now and to see us how we're playing, the change, the night and day of it, the chalk and cheese of it, the oil and water of it, it is so encouraging. I mean, just look, tiki-taka with Vicario in our back line, I feel totally calm compared to tiki-taka in our back line with Hugo Lloris there. And I love Hugo, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just a massive example of how much we've changed and where we're going with this side. So, Ange, you want to change it up, bro? I back you. You want Brennan Johnson for 50 million, bro? If that's what you want, I back you. Because every little thing that Ange is touched right now has turned to gold. Vicaro's turned to gold. Udogie, Van der Ven turned to gold. Bissouma turned to gold. Sarr turned to gold. Maddison, Sonny, do you know what I mean? Turned to gold. You know, so if you want to bring in Brennan Johnson and that's the one that you want, I'm looking forward to him turning into gold as well and seeing what we come up with.
Darren, let's come to you. Many said, many Spurs fans and pundits said, we will not score goals, nowhere near the amount of goals that Spurs have scored in previous seasons without Harry Kane. 2 against Brentford, 2 against Manchester United, 2 against Bournemouth, 5 today. Ian writes on screen now, question for the panel, is James Maddison going to be the Premier League buy of the season? Surely he is, isn't he?
I mean, listen, we've played 4 games, so you can't get carried away. But I mean, if he carries on and touch wood, he doesn't get injured, you know, I mean, unbelievable. The lock picker that we have been crying out for, and just the sheer audacity of the guy. Like when he was on the left and he cut in and left the defender on his arse because he thought he was going to cross it. Little things like that. Just the beautiful through balls in congested areas, the vision of the guy. I think it's amazing. If he carries on playing like that and we carry on playing like we are as a team, he's got to be up there. He's got to be up there. But more importantly, whether he's the buy of the season or anything like that, for us, for Tottenham fans, that's what we want. That's what we crave. That's what we deserve. And we've got him. And like has been said before, all the cliches in the book, you know, he looks like he's made for Tottenham. And Tottenham looks like he's made for him. He can play and he can express himself. And what I liked about today, to go on a little bit of a tangent, was it wasn't just the high press, but we got other things in our locker. Porro playing those long balls over the top. So there's other ways to get at a team. You know, yeah, we got Maddison playing those cheeky balls. We got Udogie cutting in. You know, we got Sarr and Bissouma bossing the midfield, and we've also got the over the top, the long ball are the opponents dropping, playing the high line. We can do that and catch him out there. There's lots of options now that we're starting to see only in a few games. Really, really exciting. I just hope that we can stay injury-free and just play like we're playing today. And like you say, you see Ange like, come on, guys, and doing all that, but that's good because he's because we want him to be frustrated. It's early doors. We want him to say, well, you could have done this, you could have done that. And to go away and not have to analyse a 3-1 defeat away from home, to analyse a 5-2 win away from home and say, well, why did we let in 2 goals? I mean, that's amazing. It bodes so well, so well.
Gary, let's come to you. Of course, Spurs did go 1-0 down after just 4 minutes. It did seem an easy goal to concede. I know you said to me before we went live that you're not happy about the goals that we are still conceding. It did seem an easy goal, as I said. An attack down the left-hand side, crossed in, Forster tapped in, past Vicario. What did you make of that goal that we conceded? How were you feeling at that point?
It was sloppy. It was too easy. It's like the players hadn't woken up. It was frustrating. And I looked at that and I thought, is this the response after going out of the Carabao Cup? And I was angry and I was annoyed. But like what Ricky mentioned, I did look at the players and it didn't seem to me like their heads went down. It did seem to think, all right, we've conceded, but they kind of kept their cool, kept their shape, and then they started playing. And then the more I looked at it, I thought, I think we still got a chance in this game. And then sure enough, we did. But look, that goal at the beginning and the goal at the end, they frustrate me like hell. But if I'm frustrated over a goal that we conceded earlier and when we concede late and we're winning 5-2, I'll take it. You know what I mean? I will take it. And on another day, I generally do think we probably got 7 or 8 goals. I mean, Son had a couple of chances as well. He could have got more. But again, we're talking about him getting 4 or 5. If he gets it, we're happy, aren't we? Like our keeper, like I said before, Hugo, I mean, look, he was a great servant and everything else. We should have got rid of him 2-3 years ago. I'm sorry, but Lloris was done. And when you see saves like that, and I love the way he was just so celebrating the save, which I love. I actually do really like that. And I was like, good, because it was a good save. You deserve to do that. Annoyingly, you still let one in at the end, but it was good. And we just look like a good side away from home. We're pressing. We're not sitting deep. I think, look, it's inevitable, right? You're 5 up away from home. There's a few minutes to go. I think it's just inevitable. You're going to sit deep. You're going to take your foot off the gas. I get that. I understand that. But as long as we're getting, big leads and we're scoring goals. I mean, 5 goals away at Burnley, mate. Honest to God. I mean, Maddison could have had a couple, 2 or 3. Even Solomon looked good. It was an all-round good performance. I mean, look, again, Richarlison, even when he came on, I didn't really notice too much of him. So he's the one we're looking at now. Thinking, look, is this going to work for Richarlison? But if you've got everyone else scoring goals, does it matter that much?
Yeah, but don't forget, you look at...
And we're still... Does it matter if Harry Kane is gone? And does it matter if Richarlison ain't scoring? It don't, as long as he's winning. I couldn't care less.
Also, Gaza, what about, like Crouch for Liverpool when he signed for them? He couldn't buy a goal. They said Harry Kane can't score in August. Gareth Bale, whenever he was in the team, we lost. So he could be a slow burner. He's frustrating. So you never know.
Whole thing around Gareth Bale, wasn't it? It was like he was jinxed. Do you know what I mean? Great he becomes. So it can happen. And again, you use the August analogy, which is spot on. But the thing is, when you think about Tottenham the season before, right? We're relying on Harry Kane, and when he's not getting the goals, we're not winning. You see, we're getting draws or we're losing, and you're frustrated because Kane's missing a couple of chances he had. But when you're going away to Burnley and you're scoring 5 goals and could have been all right, I'm not so fussed if Richarlison isn't having a great game. Don't really matter, does it? Honestly, does it? And just one thing I want to say quickly when you're talking about Ange. What I love about Ange is in post interviews and press conferences and everything else, I never knew what Conte was saying. Half the time, it was all like cryptic. I didn't know if he was happy, frustrated with the players. At least with Ange, you know what you're getting with. He comes out, he talks about our Matt James, he says about Robbie Williams, he has a laugh, he has banter with the journalists. You know where you are with him. You didn't know where you was with bloody Conte. It was so annoying. So I love it. I'm happy.
Everyone's happy. I'm loving this. I'll tell you what, Ange Postecoglou is happy. He's just said we were perhaps a little bit wasteful in the first half in the front third of the... Sorry, I'll start again. Maybe a little bit wasteful in the first half in the front third, but in the second half we were really clinical. I cannot praise the players highly enough in the way that they navigated the challenges that we had today. Ricky, let's come to you. Let's talk about Heung-min Son's goal, because what a goal it was for the equaliser in the 16th minute. Pedro Porro to Heung-min Son to Solomon back to Heung-min Son. What a finish, chipped over the goalkeeper. What a move. Heung-min Son is his best, in my opinion. Postecoglou seemed extremely happy, fist in the air. But I tell you what, people have stated before about Heung-min Son's quality and about his finishing and about he didn't do enough last season. I tell you what, the finish today for his first goal, unbelievable.
Oh, unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable. To do it at speed as well. Here we go, guys. To do it at speed as well, and to have that composure, to chip the keeper, to notice that the keeper is dropping and to chip the keeper at a point where we're 1-0 down as well. Fan bloody well-tastic. Fan dabby dozy. Oh my gosh, Sonny. You know what? We know that Sonny can play the number 9, but after a hat-trick, he might have to start up there. He might have to start up there because he's got the composure. He's got the clinical striking on both feet. We don't know how much he can head the ball. We haven't seen that much, but he's definitely got it in the locker to be up there by himself and to score the goals that are provided by Maddison or someone like Solomon. For Solomon and Sonny to be linking up the way that they did at that point was beautiful. Again, none of them were scared. None of them panicked. It wasn't a panic strike by Sonny whatsoever. He saw it in slow motion. He saw the keeper going down and he just went dink and just chipped it over him. And this is what I'm talking about, the response. The fact that we went 1-0 down in the first 3 minutes and then by the end of the half, by the end of the half, we was 2-1 up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That says so much about the boys and so much about their mentality right now going forward, and so much about the belief that they have in each other in this new team and in this new way of playing. So Sonny, with the captain's armband on, I knew it. I could feel it. What gives me confidence as well is that when Harry Kane was linked to Man City, and Sonny signed a new deal. And then Sonny played that first game. I think it was under Nuno, although I tried to forget that period of time. But he ended up scoring, and we ended up winning that game. Do you know what I mean? But what was really good about that is that Sonny didn't shirk the responsibility. He didn't shirk the weight on his shoulders to go, all right, and cool, if Harry Kane ain't here, all right, cool, I'll make that happen. And this is what he's done today. He's done that today, starting in the number 9 position. Fantastic feet, fantastic balance, fantastic drive. You saw how upset he was about the couple that he missed as well, and a couple of opportunities that got blocked. He was frustrated. He's like, oh, you know, you could see him kind of going, but the motivation and the determination that he's got to go out there and perform and to get it right the next time is phenomenal right now. We spoke about Richarlison getting a goal to improve his confidence. Today's hat trick, I think, for Sonny is just gonna make his chest grow. It's gonna lighten that load on the shoulders. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are going to be a lot more confident passing the ball into Sonny. I'm not saying that they wasn't, but passing the ball into Sonny in the number 9 position for him to take care of business. You know, it was only a couple of seasons ago that he was joint top goal scorer in the league. It's not like Sonny's, you know, can't score goals or he can't do the job. He can. And he showed it today. And I think that, not like the Leicester hat-trick last year, that we was always waiting for Sonny to click into gear. Not so much like that one, but this one, I think, is more significant for Sonny. His confidence, his head, and wearing that armband as well, to know that he can lead this team with the way in which he's leading it, which is with humility, which is with, like, you know, kind of confidence and belief. It's not about arrogance. It's about confidence. It's about belief. It's about togetherness. It's about that Spartan way, which, and I've got your back, you've got mine. You look left, I'll look right. We'll make sure that we're covered. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that's what type of leader that Sonny is, and that's what he's going to impose on this side. Another great point is that every goal scorer was part of the new leadership group. Sonny captain, Maddison vice captain, Romero vice captain. That's a response. That's a kind of reflection of the new right now, and that is what's really encouraging for me and every single Tottenham fan out there right now.
Postecoglou has just mentioned that, actually, Ricky. He said, I thought today was a real testament to Sonny, Madders and Romero. They all scored, but those three I've thrust into leadership positions, and the way that I've embraced that responsibility with not only words but actions, not just on a game day but on a daily basis, and that's really encouraging for me as anything. As fantastic players, they're all individually, we've got and brought in to this team ethic. Darren, let's come to you. Not that I thought that Heung-min Son could give any more on the pitch, because he is one of my favourite all-time Tottenham Hotspur players. I've always felt that he's given everything, but given him that captain's armband, there just does seem to be something different about Sonny this season, which I'm absolutely loving.
Well, he's maturing, isn't he? And, you know, he has to find his own way now. He hasn't got his strike partner. His strike partner's gone. So you're right. In every way, he's got to step up. And the interesting thing is that until he scored his first goal, I thought he was absent, really. I didn't see him.
Right, yeah.
I thought, you know, he didn't really do much. And then he scores one, and then two in the second half, and he gets a hat-trick. And, you know, I don't want to say that he didn't play well, but I've seen him play a lot better. And he gets 3 goals. Very bizarre. And talking of not playing well, when they came out and they were dominating us, you know, and it was like, oh, here we go. And then I think Porro was not responsible, but he was let the player on the left wander into the box and cross it for the goal. And I thought, oh, here we go. He can't bloody defend. And I thought, you know, I was like, oh, 1-0 away from home to Burnley. And then the response is just to press. And I don't think he changed the formation or made any tweaks, but it was just like, right, here we go. And we pressed them. When they were coming towards us and finding loads of spaces in the midfield and starting to thread passes, we negated it. And we thought, right, okay. And we played them like for like, and we won the battle. And from them, their heads went down, and we were all over them. It's that, what the word that Ange, I've heard him use a few times this week, is the resilience. So it's not just a case of, you know, playing matador football. It's this resilience. And also the fluidity. Like I said, you know, Udogie, a left back, and he's playing like in the centre in a number 10 position. You go, really? You know, Kulishevsky swapping, you know, coming over to the left. Just this fluidity. And Ange said, you know, I've got this thing where, you know, if you see a space, run into it. Attack it. Forget what your position is. Doesn't matter, because someone is going to be behind you, covering where you are. And it's just that freedom. It bodes really well. Bodes really well. And like I said, the first 20 minutes, we weren't all that. But, you know, we took it to them. And when we scored the first goal, that was it. There was no looking back.
Gary, let's come to you. Now, Spurs did have a chance in the 30th minute. A good move from Tottenham resulted in a Maddison shot, which was blocked. What have you made of James Maddison in the Spurs shirt so far? It's probably a silly question, but, you know, a player like this that Spurs have been crying out for since Christian Eriksen left, he just seems to have just fitted in so well to this Tottenham Hotspur team. It's like he's been there for years.
What can I say about James Maddison? I've always liked, and I'm not just saying this, but I've always liked James like this style. The same way I've always liked Rice, but I do think we've got the better player, we've got the better deal. And I'm not just saying that because Rice has gone to Arsenal and everything else, but when you look at the two players and how they've started and how much influence they've had on the game and everything else, he's miles apart. Now, I know his age and the fact Leicester got relegated all comes into it, but 40 million for a player like that, I'm laughing because it's absolutely ridiculous. But what I love is, it's like what you said, it's like he's been there for years. When he scores the goal, or Son scores everything else, they're celebrating like a little family. They're all laughing. He's doing, you know, his little celebration thing. It just fits and feels right. But honestly, Chris, I'm watching him on that, making their moves and doing them turns, and I can just see Paul Gascoigne. I'm telling you, it's like going home and away watching Gascoigne, and he's got the personality like him. He's got the banter. You saw in the corner flag when he gets and he puts the ball out and then looks at the fans. That's something like Gascoigne would. There you go. That's something like Gascoigne would do. He gets it. He gets the fans. He gets the banter. He gets what Tottenham means. He gets the whole thing that we want to do. You know, fast-paced, pressing football. He totally understands it, mate. And I think he was like, you know, I've said it a million times, he was made for Tottenham. But I just think he's brilliant. I really do. And I think without doubt, you know, yes, Son got a hat-trick and, you know, he'll get man of the match for that. So that's understandable. I get it. And he could have got 4 or 5 Son. But for me, Maddison man of the match all day long. And in pretty much every game he's played, he's match for me. He's been so influential. He is like a new Paul Gascoigne. So I think he's great. I love him. And I think it's only going to get better and better. And I think when we get to the end of the season and you compare him to the likes of Rice, which is what, 105 million or whatever, and you look at Maddison for 40 million, I think we'd be laughing because we've got such a player, mate. He's absolutely brilliant. And I love everything. You know, everything he puts on social media, all the bands. You know, when the fan was like that and he goes in row and stuff, everything about him is just, he's just on the button, mate. He's brilliant. I love him. So I'm very happy. He's the new Paul Gascoigne for me. Yeah.
There's a lot of people saying that we're smiling a lot on this podcast, and I tell you what, I'm loving it. You've got to take moments like this because we haven't had many moments like this in the last few years when we've been recording these podcasts straight off games.
And just play that team against Fulham, please, because we'd absolutely spanked about 5-0. And
if only.
We would. We so
yeah.
Would.
Yeah.
You know, we so would, but we wouldn't be Tottenham if we didn't do that. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's changing, Gary. Hopefully it's changing. This is just the start, as Ange Postecoglou has just said. This is just the start. Ricky, let's come to you. In stoppage time at the end of the first half, Spurs took the lead. Christian Romero, what a goal! You said at the start of the show the goals today have been unreal. Christian Romero, what a strike from him! Talk us through it.
Bro, it was the rocket of it. Do you know what? Like, all right, it was. What I'm sure it was the corner. It was pinging around. Everybody was having a little shot, but it was getting blocked. But the way that it just dropped to Romero, and the way that he struck it, oh my gosh! I just didn't know that Romero had that in the locker. I thought he had a headed goal off of a corner or a tap-in. But for him to take it on and strike the ball the way he did and get into that top corner, that's why I was a bit like Gaz. I was like, please don't let that be offside because it was such a beautiful goal. Big up VAR today. They sorted their lives out, man. They drew those lines in the right direction, and luckily it was onside and it was awarded. But it was such a special goal to score, And especially at the end of the half as well. You know, we was on top. We was playing good football. We've equalised at this point. We're pressing high. We're getting those chances, but they're getting blocked. They're getting shut down. There's a little, you know, there's a little bit of niggle around that box. So for someone like Romero, who picked up that ball, I just can't believe he struck it the way that he struck it. I mean, is he doing that in training? What the hell is he doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, is he training with the, is he?
VAR thing though, do you know when you got to do that weight and it's horrible, isn't it?
Oh, I can't stand it. But you could see Romero as well. He had his shirt in his mouth at one point, and he was just like, please. He was like, please, let that be a goal. Let that be a goal. And then again, the way that they celebrated with that goal as well. They were together again, you know, to celebrate that goal. But it wasn't just the goal was the cherry on the cake for me. Yeah. But you know what? Ever since this season has started, I thought Romero has been fantastic. The fact that he's been given that vice captaincy role, I think that's really given him a bit of responsibility. I think that he has grown into that role as well. I think that last year, where a lot of the fans were talking about him being reckless when it comes down to yellow cards and stuff like that, those yellow cards, I felt at that time, and I still feel at this time, those yellow cards and those frustrating late challenges, they're more a reflection of him being upset by the style of football that we was playing, the fact that he didn't have belief in getting back into the game, and the fact that he was upset and frustrated that we was in a losing side at that point. You see the way that he celebrates a goal. When Sonny scores or someone else, he's always kicking him up the backside or punching him in the ribs. He's a ruffian. Do you know what I mean? He's a rough stuff type of player. And it's the same on the other side. I think when he's frustrated in a defensive style or when we're playing not up to our best, I think he gets frustrated. And I think he's a bit old school in the sense that he tries to put in a massive challenge to get the rest of this team going. But this year, he doesn't have to do that. This year, he's seeing a bit like when Harry Kane had to do it by himself. You know, it was Romero doing it by himself. You know, one defender in the back three. But right now, he's got a partner that he can trust with height and pace, you know, in Mickey van der Ven. And he can trust passing it out to our right back, Porro. He can trust Udogie on the other side. He can trust the midfielders. Look at how calm and assured he is at the passes that he makes and when he makes it. He's not rushing. He don't mind. Do you know? He don't mind waiting until the Burnley player is close to him before he makes a kind of little side pass or a little knock here out to the wings or something like that. He is calm. He is assured, and he is leading this team in especially defensively. He is leading this team and pushing them forward. So to get that goal at the end of the half was just a cherry on the cake for me. Well done, Romero. The only time that he's going to put out those frustrating lunges and those late challenges is when it ain't going right. And yes, okay, maybe we should, you know, keep an eye on it. But I don't want to take that fire out of him. You know, the moment that we took the fire out of Delhi, you know, I'm not saying that punching the goalkeeper or a defender in the corner is the right thing to do. But the moment that we try to dampen that fire, you know, we saw a different Delhi. And I don't want to dampen that fire. I want to encourage it and get him to temper it and use it when it's needed. Do you know what I mean? Because even today, when he took that, there was a sliding challenge where he just took a player out, and it was all ball as well. It wasn't like a reckless one. It was a fantastic challenge, and I was just like, that's my defender right there. Do you know what I mean? So perfect cherry on the cake for him to get that rocket of a goal.
Darren, let's come to you. In the 54th minute, Spurs went 3-1 up. Maddison with a top-class finish. Talk us through that goal, because, of course, Ange Postecoglou has said that the goals will be spread out. I think that Maddison is going to score a lot of goals this season. What do you make of that finish today?
Oh, it's unbelievable. So I'm loving the production, by the way, on the show. This is unbelievable. There's no expense spared with the production. This is great. It's got a team of 15 in a B&B in Burnley, all like finding pictures. This is incredible. It's like an audio and visual feast for the eye. Unbelievable. Top class. You don't get this on any other podcast. All you need is a voiceover at the start and you'll be there. Anyway, so very cheap, 250 quid a session. So wonderful.
Fan cams.
Ricky, no.
Have you been brushing up on your Ricky Norwood impressions?
Bro, And the thing, bro, you know what? You can't do that, bro.
Come on.
Anyway, sound like Bob Marley.
Nearly.
So Pup Sarr gets the ball, puts in the challenge on the left, plays it to Maddison, and never my impressions. He thought, I'm going to do an impression of Son here, and he cuts in and bends it round. Unbelievable. That was reminiscent of Son, and unbelievable. What a goal. Beautifully taken. Absolutely fantastic. Really deserved it. I mean, not that he would, say that it's important. It's disappointing if Maddison doesn't score because he does so much in a game and to help the team, but thoroughly deserved that. And if he can pop up with a few of them, bloody hell, unbelievable. But don't forget, like, really good challenges and defensive displays as well. Like I said, Pup Sarr with that challenge. What did he say? What was that? Missed that. Anyway, Pup Sarr with the challenge and then laid it off to Maddison, but popping up everywhere and thoroughly great finish. Really, really thoroughly deserved. Brilliant. And that was the one, wasn't it? You take it from 2-1 to 3-1 and you think, oh, here we go. Lovely. Bit of distance. We love distance.
Darren, it could have been 4-1. Bissouma had a shot saved by Trafford, the Burnley goalkeeper. What have you made of Bissouma's performances this season? Because he seems to be like a new signing as well.
Really solid. And do you know what? It sort of pisses me off even more that Conte didn't want to play him, that just sort of left him out, like he did with Jed Spence. I still think he had, so much potential for us, and we just never got to see it. He was cast out. He just didn't give him a chance. And the same with Bissouma. And now that Conte's gone and Ange is in, he's playing him, and what a difference he's made. Just so solid and assured. You think of Moussa Dembele, the way that he got the ball in tight areas and didn't panic and would lay it off and would nutmeg players and leave them standing. Bissouma's got that in his locker. Again, early days, so you don't want to get carried away, but such an important player for us. And we saw it against Fulham, and the display again today, calm, self-assured, just bossing that midfield, holding, giving us that defensive solidity we need. Absolutely wonderful. Really, really great. He's going to be another important player for us. Absolutely. Really, really is.
Gary, let's come to you. Let's talk about Tottenham Hotspur's fourth goal in the 63rd minute. Solomon with a great cross to Heung-min Son. What have you made of Manor Solomon in a Spurs shirt so far?
Well, I thought today he was really good. He looks bright. He's strong. He's got a good eye for the ball. You know what? I'm struggling to really, apart from Richarlison, I'm struggling really with any of them players that we brought in now that are playing in that team to really criticise any of them. If I'm honest with you, the only one I would say at the moment is just Richarlison. He's just not really doing it for us. But Solomon's been great. I think he's brilliant. He almost scored. He had a great shot on goal as well. He looked really good when he took that shot. He's doing some good passes. He's strong. It's same as Bissouma. All these guys playing with a confidence now, and they're not scared to get forward and go for it. I mean, honestly, if I think through the team, forget about the Carabao Cup because you can't even use that team as an example. And look at the team against Man United and how they're playing as a team and all them players. Apart from really Richarlison, Chris, I don't think you can really say a bad thing about any of them. They're all good. They're all playing really good front foot attacking football and playing as a team. And that's what I thought would happen. When Harry Kane eventually, I thought, we're going to play as an actual team. And everyone can kind of step up a bit and go for it. And I repeat, apart from Richarlison, every single last player are having good games. There's no one that you could say, again, you cross off that Carabao Cup game, and I don't even know what the answer to that game was. I don't even know if that was all Ange or if it was Levy, if there was politics involved with the club. That wasn't Tottenham Hotspur that played Fulham the other day. We know that, right? It wasn't. You can say else was bad, but if you look at all the Premier League games and all the team and every single game, apart from Richarlison, and he has tried, but Ricky mentioned about Romero getting booked last season when the team weren't playing good. Richarlison was a bit like this season. I can't remember what game it was, but he lost the ball and kicked out on a player. He got booked. He was petrified. And that's it. Apart from him, I don't see that frustration in any player. You could maybe say there was a little bit there with Son, but I think Son was still playing good and was still going for it and still attacking and still trying to score goals. I honestly do think every single player for Tottenham at the moment is really playing above what we've expected a lot of them to be. I honestly, I'm really excited. I really am. And look, I know it's only like a few games in, and you shouldn't get excited, but why not? I think we've scored a lot of goals, and we've created a lot of chances. I remember games, Chris, when last season I think we beat West Ham 2-0, but I came away from that game with a win, but not very happy because we didn't create a lot of chances. We didn't play fun attacking football. We didn't look like a team. We were scraping wins and losing, and we weren't creating any games. You think of the last game of the season when we lost 3-1 second half. You look at that second half against Brentford at home when we had Harry Kane, right? Because let's not forget, we had Harry Kane in that game. And you look at this second half with that team we've got without Harry Kane. Mate, it's worlds apart. It's absolutely worlds apart. And that's why I'm so happy. And that's why I am getting a little bit carried away. And yes, we're going to, concede silly goals because we always will because we're Tottenham Hotspur. But even our defence, Ricky touched on with our goalkeeper. Hugo Lloris ain't saving that shot, mate. When that deflection come in, I thought that goal's going in. There's no way, I don't care what anyone says on the panel or in the chat, Hugo Lloris ain't saving that goal, mate. It's amazing. It was a brilliant save, and he deserved to get up and go mental about it. I jumped up and went mental about it. It's almost as good as a goal.
Yeah.
So, Solomon, Bissouma, like what Darren said, he didn't get a chance, and we all knew there was a player there. But Bissouma, Sarr, all of them, when I look at them in that game today, and particularly after 16 minutes, right through the first half and the second half, wow. Yes, I'm frustrated we conceded near the end, and I've still got a right to moan about that. And I think Ange will moan about that. And still go back to them players at the end and say, listen, that was a great result. We've scored 5 goals at Burnley, could have got 7 or 8, but don't let in sloppy goals. It's good times, mate. What I don't want to see, Chris, just very quickly, when the FA Cup starts and we put that team out for the FA Cup game, I do not want to see a team like the Carabao Cup because that will be unforgivable. No more than 2 changes. That's what I want to see, mate. Yeah. Because we can go for that FA Cup, and I'm telling you, I've said we're going to get to the final of that with Chelsea, and we'll beat them. And I'm certain we can go all the way to the final, get Chelsea to the final, and beat them. Do not be making any changes in the FA Cup, but league performances, fucking brilliant, absolutely.
The fact they lost 1-0 at home to Forest is hilarious as well. It's brilliant. That's the icing on the cake.
But you know what, guys? That goal that we conceded in the last in extra time at the end of the game, Mickey van der Ven was really unlucky not to get there. He was like his calf muscle was an inch away from being spot on and being a spot on challenge. And also, sidebar, I'm happy it didn't deflect off of him to go in for an own goal because that would have started a whole different thing as well. But he was an inch away. On the other side of that, conceding that goal, Ange, from what we've been hearing and from all the reports and stuff like that, he does not want us at any moment to start holding the ball, to start sitting back.
Yeah.
He always wants us to keep pushing. So this is what's happened. So the team have got to 5-1 at 68 minutes. From 70 minutes onwards, Richarlison comes onto the field. We start making a couple of changes. And as you clocked as well, we started just, the vibe changed a little bit, right? We started.
Ricky's doing my job. I was coming to that.
Sorry, guys. I'll let you go back in there. But I was just going to say that Ange doesn't want to play that way. Do you know what I mean? He wants us always on the front. He wants us to be ruthless, and he wants us to keep pushing forward. Sorry, Chris.
No,
that's right. I was going
to... Chris, coming to you next. On the 84th minute... Sorry. Got carried away. Sorry.
No, Ricky, we say that though, because when those changes were made, that's what it was like when we were playing Fulham. It was identical. I looked at that game when them 5 changes were made, and I'm sitting there looking. We bring off Cooley, we bring off Maddison, Sarr, Solomon. They all come off, and bring on Højbjerg, Skip, Perisic, all the usual suspects. It was like watching the Fulham game. It really was, wasn't it? And that's why it really frustrated me that we conceded in the end. Yes,
yeah, but Gaz, playing devil's advocate, the game was won. So the game's won. We're 5-1 up. All right, they scored again. So he's just assuring it.
It frustrates me when we concede near the end, but maybe it's just me. Look, I should be happy. We've won 5-2, but I just feel when we play so good and we've controlled the game, why let them get the last goal of the game? It's just a little bit frustrating, and I don't think we would have if we wouldn't have made them changes. But
maybe it's like when you go to someone's house for dinner and you give them a bottle of wine, like thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I never know what's coming next on this podcast for you guests, I tell you. Gary, are you saying then, when we play the likes of Manchester City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, being honest, good sides in the Premier League, are you worried about us defensively still?
No, not with that first team out there. When we make them changes, I'm very worried. But with that first starting 11, I'm not worried in the slightest. No.
Gary, we're getting lots of messages in saying people want you to smile more. Ricky, let's come to you. In the 66th minute, of course, Heung-min Son made it 5-1, completing his hat-trick. But what a ball from Pedro Porro. I tell you what, we've spoken about Pedro Porro before and about who is the best right-back at Tottenham Hotspur. We know that he's got this creative, attacking nature about him, but that was an unbelievable assist.
It was a fantastic assist. And again, an assist that's going to give Porro and his teammates a lot of confidence and a lot of belief in what he's bringing to the side. A lot of people were worried about his defensive capabilities, but what I would bring the example back to is Carl Walker. When Carl Walker, he came off of that loan from Aston Villa and he started playing the game. And, even at the times when he was under Poch and playing fantastic, there was always a slight kind of niggle with Tottenham fans of, he doesn't really defend that well, or, he's got to work on his defensive aspects of his game. But I think that this is a kind of a similarity with Porro, is that I think he's got great pace. He's got great recovery pace to kind of cover on the back end. But the attacking flair, his vision, he's technically fantastic. Do you know what I mean? And for him to get that as well, again, all it does is just encourage the belief in one another that doesn't matter who's got the ball, that they're going to find that forward pass, that they're going to be looking forward. They're going to be looking to damage that opponent. And again, I've said it for years, but don't worry about the opposition. Let the opposition worry about us. And that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be worried about what balls, Porro is going to put in, his crosses, he's overlapping, the triangles, the dynamism, and the no fear play. Also, when you look at because we are playing a high line, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Mickey van der Ven that said it a couple of weeks ago. But they have been working on when to push up, when to drop back, to run as a unit and stuff like that. So Porro has got this. I think he's only going to grow. And I think we're going to get so much more out of him. Whether he takes a free kick at some point or whether it's the strikes. There was a volley today that it went side. It was a bit of a scuff the way that he connected, but the fact that he saw that and went for it, that's going to come off at some point. You saw it the other week when he hit the bar and he should have scored off of that. I want to say it was Brentford, but I can't remember right now. But he struck the ball on the edge of the box and it hit it should have gone in. But that's what we've got with our right back. Is that an Australian fag? Big up to Richard Hughes, all the way from live and direct from Oz. Big up Richard Hughes, who's put a little comment downstairs on the old screen right there. Loving the Aussies. You know what I mean? Loving Ange Postecoglou. I bet you're loving the Robbie Williams song right now, aka James Black song. But yes, it's super exciting to see what we've got right now. And I think with Porro, all he's going to do is grow. He's going to learn those defensive kind of positions a lot more. And he's gonna be really kind of the unexpected one that's going to create something in that final third. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to forget about him being there on the right-hand side because they're worried about Kulu, they're worried about Maddison, they're worried about Sonny, they're worried about Brennan Johnson, they're worried about Bissouma, they're worried about Udogie, and then you've got Porro, who's always going to be open. And I think weeks to come, he's going to be the one that is going to just be the dynamite, be the diamond, and always open and always free to create or to score. Like we've got so much more coming from Porro.
Yeah.
Well, in the away end today, the Spurs fans sung a number of times. We've got our Tottenham back. Of course, it has been sung before Bournemouth last week, which is a great feeling because we all want this entertaining style back, and Ange Postecoglou is doing a great job at the moment. Of course, we all hope that it continues. Darren, let's come to you. Richarlison came on in the 72nd minute. There was a lot of love for Richarlison from the away end, and there has been a lot of love for him, particularly last week against Bournemouth. And, of course, he scored midweek in the Carabao Cup. What have you made of Richarlison so far? Do you think that Ange Postecoglou is going to get the best out of him? Do you think he's going to give more in games? Do you think he's going to score more goals? Or would you prefer Heung-min Son to now play a more central role and Richarlison perhaps being that sub that comes on and perhaps changes a game every now and then?
Well, I mean, based on today, if you want to take today on merit, then you would say stick him on the bench. But I just want him to do well. I want him to get a couple of goals and crack on. He looks like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's not really smiling. I mean, there was a brief smile when he scored against Fulham, but I just, you know what I'm like. My glass is always half full. When we lose, I like to think that, the manager is going to go away, analyze the game, and come back and win the next game. I'm always trying to see the positive, like you, Chris. We're happy people at the end of the day. So I just want him to get another goal, another couple of goals, and kick on. Like we spoke about, Liverpool when Crouch couldn't buy a goal. Gareth Bale, and I'm just hoping this is another example. But you look at his whole demeanour, like he had one little opportunity today where he got a ball into him and he sort of fluffed it and it didn't really do much. One thing that we know is that there's no danger of him not getting the service. That we know. With Maddison, with Porro, with the way we play, he's always going to get chances. So maybe he's just trying, I don't know, maybe he's just trying too hard. I like to think that if he gets another one, he'll be off and running. But we need, I don't want to see Brennan. Obviously, we're all looking forward to seeing Johnson, but I don't want him to be like a like for Richarlison. I want Richarlison to, the competition so that we've got strikers fighting for places. So in answer to your question, I absolutely think that he deserves a place and that someone put in the comments before, he's gone by December. I don't want that. I want him to stay and for Ange to have faith in him and for him to crack on. Personally speaking, I don't think he's not good enough to play for Spurs. Certainly not. I don't think we haven't seen enough of him. We haven't seen anything yet. So let's see when he gets a couple of goals and see.
Yeah.
And judge him after that.
Yeah, well said. Gary, let's come to you. Warrior without master rights here. Great performance, rough edges still, but imagine the chaos that Son and Johnson will cause. Also fun watching Chelsea fans melt down over loss to Forest. How are Spurs playing better than us? Now, of course, you live and you're married to a Chelsea fan. How's she feeling about Chelsea at the moment?
Phoned me actually, and I was on the phone.
Oh, she cut him off. She cut the Wi-Fi. she took the plug out.
Conceded, and she's like, "You got the cheek to moan you conceded, and you win 5-2 away, and we've just fucking lost." And I'm like, "Sorry," but I suppose that's where we are now. That's the levels. So it just goes to show money don't buy you everything. It's absolute madness, and that's the thing. You can spend all that money and get all these big guys in, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to gel and play like a team. And that's why you've got to have managers. And listen, look, I know you love Poch. I know you loved him, but I never, ever wanted Poch back. Yeah, exactly.
Look, there's two people we never mention on this show anymore, and one of them is Nuno Espirito Santo, and the other one is that guy.
He said
Chelsea
the
manager.
P word. He said the P word.
But for me, I just think to myself, you know, you get a manager in who's going to work with what he's got. He's going to make the players play, and it's like what we were talking about before. This like kind of huddling together before the game and the end of the game, and also for the away fans, Chris, like what you're saying, they're going over to the away fans. You know, whether they draw, you know, win big, scrape a win, they're going over. They're acknowledging the fans. They're doing a lot more than.
I love that.
Yeah, they never used to really do that as a team last season before. Listen, I'll always say about Harry Kane, he always had the time for the fans, home and away and everything else. But we were too reliant on him, you know, too reliant on him. And you know, I'm with Darren to a certain extent. I do feel Richarlison, he's got the technical ability. He's got the pace, right? If we're in a position where we're 2 or 3 up and we bring Richarlison on, he's going to cause teams problems. It's going to happen. It's going to be like, you know, like Paul Walsh used to be. To come on with to go, you know, with his long blonde hair, and he was never quite there post the other strikers, but he'd always be a nuisance. I think you can't be that good for Brazil and have that ability. You know, it's just not quite hit right. And listen, let's be honest. Until today, it hadn't really worked for Son, and Son's got a hat trick today. So who knows? I just think it's a good problem to have because we're still winning games, we're still putting in good results, and the main thing is, Chris, is we're playing as a team, and it goes from the team, the manager, and the fans right onto your podcast, right onto X or Twitter, whatever you call it, all over social media. But when you're playing front foot, attacking, fun football.
Oh, she came up again.
You can live with that. You know, I think we'd all say that if we get a draw or we lose, but we're playing front foot attacking football, I'll take that. I'll take that. You know, as much as it annoyed me conceding in the 4th minute, 96th minute, we are winning games and we are going for it, and we are playing football like we did today with Maddison and let's give Kulusevski a shout as well, because I think Kulu played really good today. And he's good at holding the ball up, going down the right and cutting in. I love what he does.
Yeah.
He goes down the right or left wing, and you think he's going to cross it, but he's just got that technical ability where he runs the ball into the box, and then he's picking out players and stuff. Yeah, you know, it didn't quite work. He didn't get a goal and everything else, but wow, what a player Kulu is as well, mate. And all of them. That's the thing. It's a team. It's a team performance now, Chris.
Can I ask quickly? I know Heung-min Son will probably get the Man of the Match award, and rightly so. But apart from Heung-min Son, who would you give it to apart from Heung-min Son?
Maddison.
Ricky?
Oh, 1 minute, mate. Sorry. Oh, goodness. I would have given it to Romero today.
Darren?
Maddison, absolutely. Bossed it, fam.
Loved him.
I think it's great when you can probably name a number of players for the Man of the Match award, but it really has been the perfect day for Tottenham Hotspur, because not only did we beat Burnley 5-2 today, but the under-18s beat Blackburn Rovers 3-0 in the Premier League Cup, and the Spurs under-21s beat Blackburn Rovers 4-0 in Premier League 2, and the Spurs under-21s are now top of the Premier League 2 league table, 4 wins from 4. Ricky, let's come to you, and we are going to wrap things up very soon. The transfer window, of course, closed yesterday. New signing Brennan Johnson. He come out and said it's a dream come true. The fans are unbelievable. The style of play is incredible. I'm a player that likes to excite the fans. I work hard for the team. I'm really excited to be here. What have you made of the transfer window? Give me a rating out of 10. Of course, we've had 7 players come in, 9 if you want to include Pedro Porro and Kulusevski, who have just signed on permanent deals at the start of the season or in the summer. 10 players out the door. One player, it was announced this morning that Harvey White has now left on a permanent deal to sign for Stevenage. It was only approved by the EFL this morning. That's why it wasn't announced last night. But what have you made of Tottenham Hotspur's transfer business overall?
You know what? Going into this transfer window, I was very calm. So, you know, like I said about last season, I was very dejected, very kind of despondent about our chances and the seasons ahead. All right, when it came down to a new manager, when it came down to what we were going to do with our squad and stuff like that. But to kind of see the players that were brought in, majority of them are a bit of a risk. They are a bit of a punt. Do you know what I mean? But they are all suited to the Ange Postecoglou way of playing football. And this is what gives me some faith. This is what gives me some belief in going forward with them. Do I think that we should have done more? Yes, but that's what happens every single summer. Yeah. We've said this every single summer. We should have got one more here. We should have got another one here. If only if we got that one. If only if we got, so that happens every single year. It was tough getting some players out of the side. I felt that we could have taken, there was the last bid. I think it was from Rennes for Davison Sanchez, which was about 12 million euro. I think we could have, taken that, because what else was we waiting for? Another 3 million euro to sanction the deal. I think if you had. Go on, Chris.
I was going to say, Rick, are you surprised, and I probably should have added this into the question, are you surprised that the likes of Pierre Højbjerg, he had offers to go to Fulham? Spurs rejected an offer for him to go to Atletico Madrid because the terms weren't right of the deal. Davison Sanchez, who you mentioned there, he had offers. Spurs wanted a little bit more money for him. There are a whole host of players that could have possibly gone out the door. Hugo Lloris had offers, didn't go. You surprised?
Yeah, I am because there is a part of me that does feel with Hugo and with Dyer that we could have helped facilitate a move a bit more as a club standing. These two have been here. Whatever your opinion is of Dyer, they've been here and have served the club for a very long time. Dyer 9 years, Hugo 11 years. Do you know what I mean? And I felt that we could have helped. Dyer was looking for a loan. Otherwise he was going to sit out the season, so we could have loaned. I mean, I know it's bad financial sense, but I think it's better than having him in the background, in the bomb squad training over there while you're trying to move forward. You're still going to be paying him the weekly wages, and he's not going to be happy. And you've got him not happy, you've got Hugo not happy, and the couple of others that are Tanguay's not happy. You got a couple of others just kind of in this side squad that are not going to be there as happy people, and I think it could disrupt the energy a little bit of the new look Tottenham. The way that we're moving forward, the way that we're pushing forward. I think it could disrupt that a little bit. So I do think that we could have done better in getting some of these players out and giving them a better move. I don't know how much we was looking for Dyer, but if he wasn't looking to go, or if he wants to go to a Champions League team, then okay. Then loan him out and let him go on a free, because come January, he can sign with anyone he wants to anyway, and then he's still sitting at the club. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're going to get any money for him. We brought him in for 4 million. So even a loan fee, if you would have got a loan fee of 3 million off of somebody, and then he went for a free next year, you're still getting some money back. Do you know what I mean? And plus those wages off the bill, and then plus being able to go in for the defender that you really want. If you look at the stature of the defenders that we wanted, talking about Tosin and talking about Lloyd Kelly, I know everyone was going a bit crazy with Lloyd Kelly, but but tall, bit of a ball player, and with speed. This is a bit like Rocky. When he's like, you need speed, you need dirty, greasy, lightning speed. When Mickey tells him, this is what this side's about, and that's what we need for moving forward. And like everybody said, if we get 1-2 injuries, then it's back to the old, and we're hoping and praying for the best. But for me personally, I want all of our players to be the best that they can possibly be. Hugo's already stated that he wanted to leave for a new project. I don't understand, especially with that whole Nice thing, them dropping Schmeichel on a free and him saying no to them. That did kind of confuse me because he would have been the number one there and back to his boyhood club. The Højbjerg one, okay, look, Højbjerg holds some value for us. So I can understand them holding out for a little bit and maybe making a deal in January. But he's the Viking. He is very much a leader. He's very much a kind of senior player. And I would hate him to be upset. I see him being a professional, but I would hate him to be upset in and around that squad, because he can come in and do a job for us and shore it up like he did today, like he did last week. He can do that for us. But that's where he is in the squad and in the squad pecking order. He's there on the bench to come off of it, or as a rotation because of suspension or stuff, or an injury. He's there to shore it up right now. And him as a professional, I see him being able to perform as a professional. But everyone's going to be upset, and it's going to take a little while. Maybe this international break will help, but it's going to take them a little while to kind of get their heads around, okay, we're still at Tottenham. Okay, what do we have to do? Yes, that we could have done more. I think we could have done more on the outgoings. I think we could have done a bit more on the incomings as well. But you know what? I'm just happy from what the boss has said that we have definitely got players in that he wants. Now, whether the scouts come to him and say, look, this fits your profile, or, have a look at this one, or whether Ange has gone, I want A, B, and C. They've, especially without a director of football, they've worked it out. They've worked it out, and they've worked a system in which we've got a ton of players that are there for the Ange Postecoglou system. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm happy with. I'm happy with the new side. I'm happy with the new look. I'm happy with the freshness. Those that need to go, now they're going to be in the bomb squad at training, and I just hope that they don't disrupt the energy and the good feeling that we have moving forward.
Ricky, just very quickly, your thoughts on Brennan Johnson?
I'm really excited by him. I think he's a young player. I think people want to, if anybody's seen the Y Scout stats and stuff like that, you might be a bit alarmed that he doesn't do too many short passes or this and other. But what he does really well is break the lines. He's direct. He's dynamic. He's a speed merchant again. He can strike with both of his feet. He loves the corner of the goal. And don't just look at last year. Last year was his first season in the Premiership where he done well. Chris, I'm sure you can give me the stats on his goals and assists right now. I can't remember them. But I think it's 8. But he done really well in the kind of, in the transition period, going from a Championship side to a Premier League side. But if you look at him last year and the amount of goals and assists that he scored, that he provided last year, as Nottingham Forest were going for promotion, he was a standout. He's one of their own. They love him to bits. I don't think Nottingham Forest fan base wanted to see him go, but he wanted to come to Tottenham, and I love that. I love it when a player wants to come. Do you know what I mean? He's got a lot to prove. And he's hungry for it. And I think that we're going to see that from him. You can't put all the pressure on his shoulders. You can't put the price tag on his shoulders. What we need to remember is that he's an Ange Postecoglou pick, and we've got to give him time to work the system and all of that. But he's definitely going to come in hungry, and he's definitely going to want to prove himself. So with the rotation and with the fluid way in which we're playing right now, I think he could be very dangerous. I think he could give us something else. When we want to take Maddison off, we could flip Kulu into the number 8, which I think Kulu would be dynamite in that number 8, number 10 role. And you could put Brennan out on the right-hand side, and what does that look like? Or you want to swap it over, stick him on the left-hand side. Then he's got the cut in and shoot with the right foot. What is that going to look like? What I think is that having absolutely greasy, fast, lightning speed is going to be, it's just going to be dangerous for everyone that comes to play Tottenham. Think about that whole side right now. Everybody's Udogie, Porro, Mickey van der Ven, Romero, but everyone's got speed. Everybody's got some speed right now. And so if you can get those transitions happening really, really quick, then my gosh, we're in trouble for any side. And I don't care who we come up against. As long as we play in the same style and the same way, I think it could be a really, really good buy for us. And I think it could change the way in which we play.
I love your quick answers, Rick.
Darren, yeah, I know, they're quick, isn't they?
Darren, your thoughts on the transfer window, ins and outs?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting what Ange said, because he said he doesn't really get a say. So I don't really get a say, they sort of tell me at the last minute. Yeah, look, So I think it's been good. The only thing that worries me, and I think that the reason it's good is because the start of the season speaks for itself. The only thing that worries me, as has been said, our friend Richard Whitehead and a few people mentioned it on around and about on Twitter and forums recently, that we're an injury short or an African Cup of Nations short of, being in trouble. I mean, God forbid, you know, like Maddison gets someone targets him, you know, and he gets out, then he really is the only one that's doing that role at the moment, that number 10 role that he does so well. You know, Romero, God forbid something happens to him, you know, then what's he going to do? He's going to put Sanchez or Dyer back in, you know. So by and large, I am happy. And I think it's interesting who we, as Ricky said in his monologue, I think it's interesting who we haven't got rid of, really. I think it's not so much who we signed as opposed to, you know, who's still at the club. And like Ricky said, you know, the bomb squad are just going to be out training on their own, who is not even in the squad. You know, you look at Ndombele, and I know he's injured, but Sessegnon, you know, where's his place? So I think that we could really do with shipping some dead wood. I don't like to use that expression, but, you know, shipping them out and getting a really good centre-back or two for that cover. You know, Van der Ven and Romero have acquitted themselves so well this season that if they get injured, where are we then? And I just want to say another thing. It was crossing my mind. It's not just, this is sort of slightly going off piece, it's not just the front foot forward attacking football. I've got to say, apart from a couple of rubbish goals today, but defensively, everyone is playing their part. And I'd love to know, because we know about the running in spaces and the fluidity and the freedom and the expression we've discussed today. But defensively, we look really solid and everyone is coming back and making those tackles. You know, all the midfielders are coming and doing their job and dropping deeper. It'd be really interesting. I don't know if you guys can have got any more knowledge about what Ange is sort of thinking defensively. Has he said anything about his philosophy in that respect?
Chris?
No.
Anyone? No, not really.
No, I said on this channel many times, and when I went out to Singapore, Thailand, and Australia, the training sessions that I went to, you didn't see any defensive work. Whether that was just a thing that he wanted to, you know, entertain the crowd that come along, it was just all about attacking play. But of course, I'm sure defensive work goes on behind the scenes. But as Ricky has said on this channel many times, it was all about, you know, having the defenders that he wanted in. And if you didn't have those defenders in, what's the point in doing defensive work with the players that you know can't actually do the job properly, or with players like Eric Dyer that he knew at that time probably that he didn't want to use going forward. So Van der Ven, etc., coming in, you know, I think things are different now. But I think the style certainly entertains me, and there is that risk. And a number of players have already said it. You know, they like playing with that risk. You know, what is football without risk? One of the players said recently, and I love that attitude. I think it's great, but you do need to have fast players. But I do agree with you, Darren. A couple of injuries to key players in this starting 11 at the moment, I think, will really hurt us, you know, going forward. But you know, hopefully we can be injury free, and hopefully we can be playing like this, you know, for many weeks and months to come.
And don't forget, we've got Bentancur, please God, coming back in November.
Yeah. That'd be like a new signing. Postecoglou said that yesterday in the press conference. He'll be like a new signing when he comes back. So that's exciting. That'll be good news when he comes back into the frame. Gary, let's come to you. Let's get your thoughts very quickly on the transfer window. You happy? What rating out of 10 would you give it?
Probably 6, maybe a 7, 6 or 7. But for me, I'm more frustrated like the players we can get out. I mean, I didn't see Reguilon go Man United. I was a bit shocked with that one. I was like, okay. But for me, you know, the likes of Sanchez and Dyer and players like that, the Reece and Ndombele, get them out before Reguilon. But look, I mean, there's obviously all like politics behind it, and there's a reason why certain players ain't going out the door and stuff like that. But you'd have to say, with the team that we've got at the moment, yes, right, you know, we can all think, oh, ifs and buts, and Darren's right, if we get injuries and everything else. But you can just look at what we have at the moment and how we're playing. And you touched on it as well. When you go back, was there any defensive work done? Well, you know, a lot of the players like what was playing against Fulham ain't going to really play in our team, so it doesn't really matter. You know, when you look at Sanchez in defence, or he's trying to cover back and stuff, it's a totally different ball game for the players. You know, I'm not watching them games. Not heart in my mouth. Yes, I mean, if you think the start of the season, okay, we conceded a couple of silly goals today, and then one from open play for Brentford. The other was a penalty that never was a penalty, and other than that, there's been nothing else. I think defensively, there's always going to be where you know, Ricky said it. Van der Beek was a bit unlucky. I think he was unlucky with his own goal. I think he was down for one own goal, could have been, but massively unlucky. When you look in a game that's 100 odd minutes and you look at VAR and the referees and some of the decisions, and you look at open play, how we've been playing, we've been pretty good in defence. You can't really turn around and point your finger at any defensive player or even midfield or anything and say, look, they've made mistakes here and there. There's been nothing to the extent of when you look at Sanchez, Dyer, Ben Davis and players like that. They're miles apart. So for me, yes, it's frustrating we didn't get some players out. I don't know a great deal about this guy coming from Nottingham Forest, but from what I've seen on Sky and other stuff and what Ricky said, he sounds really exciting and promising. And I think going forward with pace, we look like we keep shaping defence. And I think the players are playing with confidence. You know, like Davis, Dyer, Sanchez, and all in place. They used to be having arguments on the field. You know, they'd be falling out with each other. They certainly weren't getting a huddle and cuddling together and, you know, and then playing with that confidence. For me, it is miles apart. And yeah, I'll give it a 6 or a 7, but I can only go with how things have started so far, and I'm happy. I'm really happy.
Well, we're going to end the podcast on a couple of comments here. Ange Postecoglou in his press conference has been talking about Brennan Johnson. He said he's young, he's exciting, he's an ambitious guy. It's no secret I wanted him to be a part of the model. It's about the person you're bringing in rather than the footballer. He's hungry. He wants to take his game to the next level. And James Maddison has just tweeted, love this team. Happy Saturdays, boys and girls.
Hey.
Ricky Norwood, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. I love this, Ricky Norwood. I love this version of you. When we win 5-2 away, Heung-min Son scores a hat-trick. Please come again. Please, where can people find you?
You guys know where you can find me. I'll probably be here on the next league game, but you can find me on Twitter or on X right now at Ricky J Norwood, which is down here in the little comment bar. On Instagram, official Ricky Norwood. And again, thank you to Gaz, to Dow, Chris. Always an honour and a pleasure. But every single one of you Tottenham and EastEnders fans out there that sent me love and sent messages of support, and the energy was overwhelming. So I thank you all, and I look forward to the next one. And come on, you Spurs. Come on.
Darren, thanks so much for returning to the show. Looking forward to having you back on at some point in the near future. Where can people find you?
Darren Altman on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok. Do you know TikTok, Chris? It's for the kids. Yeah, for the kids. Shape up, Grandad, for Christ's sake.
60-second updates every day on TikTok.
Unbelievable. Yeah. You're bashing them out. Unbelievable. Do you know what I'm looking forward to, Chris? I'm looking forward to when we all get together for a post-podcast huddle.
Come on.
Well, we did go out for dinner once, didn't we? The four of us.
You know, that was brilliant. What a laugh that was. Yeah.
That's overdue. We should arrange that very soon.
Yeah.
Good. Darren, where can people find you? Have you said?
Yeah, Darren Altman on Twitter and on TikTok and on Instagram. I'm at Darren Altman _VO for voiceover. And I post all my voiceover sessions and silly impressions. So, yeah, all of that nonsense.
And Gary, lovely to have you back. Hopefully get you back on sometime in the near future when Spurs win again. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me sometimes on your show, or if not, I'm going live on Facebook and Instagram. But whether you want to watch me when I go live on those sort of things, I'm not sure. I did notice, Darren, you watched my show yesterday. You didn't jump on the live.
I did watch your show because only for one reason. I wanted to see your abs. But, you know.
You must be disappointed when you saw the drag queen on there singing then, surely.
Yeah, I thought, well, Gary's changed. Christ.
But you know, I'm just glad I done this one, not the Fulham one the other day. I must admit, when you gave me the option, and I was like, "What shall I do?" Yeah, I know. I'll take the Burnley one. So I'm happy for that because you wouldn't be angry on here. I know that it's never good.
Well, Gary, Ricky, Darren, thanks so much for your time this evening, and thank you very much to the 23,000 people who have watched this so far on YouTube in the last hour and 40. So I hope you're as happy as all of us, and we've seen the incredible support all around the world. So it is unbelievable. So thank you so much for all of your support, supporting this channel, supporting the audio version as well. It does mean a lot to us. and hopefully this form under Postecoglou will continue, and we will keep climbing up that Premier League table, and Heung-min Son will keep scoring many more goals. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, come on, you Spurs.
Come on!
Bring your boy.